You are meaning, what is the real meaning of life in my sense, in my view. So three questions that I have raised. Maybe you can suggest some other questions, but we will try to focus as much as possible, and we will try to concise as much as possible on these questions. As I have already shared, but I will again read them for you so that we can focus on them. Let me see. Okay. So one question is, does philosophy provide any objective basis to make a distinction between faith and superstition? Second question is, can we examine mental health of an individual on the basis of normal social functioning? Third, can we philosophically understand the difference between spiritual surrender and submission to authority? Right. So I don't know how to approach the third one is the first one or the first one is the third one. Uh, but let's begin with the main question, that can we distinguish between faith and superstition? Is there any way that we can find here in the philosophy? Or and one thing that I was reading about, the religious knowledge. Can we say religious knowledge is our knowledge itself, or it is something different other than knowledge? So we can begin with this question, maybe. Anyone can begin whatever thoughts be coming into mind. So you can move on.
I think I'll take. Uh, uh, it's a given that religious knowledge is in fact a knowledge, because when we consider the traditionally accepted definition of knowledge, which is justified through belief, okay, and belief in that regard is are two kinds of belief are there, okay. So even faith and superstition both can be taken as the modes of beliefs, okay. And there's a famous quotation by somebody, I don't know who said that unless you believe in magic, you will never see it. Okay. So I believe religious epistemology considers, the religious knowledge as a definite construction of knowledge. But the problem is, what is the nature of that knowledge? What do we base it upon? And that is the dimension I think we should proceed into.
Okay, so you are saying religious knowledge is a kind of knowledge, and what is the nature that we have to pursue more, right? So maybe this is your take. Let's see what others are to say about it. Vishal, Ron, Neetu.
Okay, Ron cannot understand Hindi, no?
Yeah, he can.
Oh, he can.
This is
Yeah, I can understand.
quite good Hindi.
Yeah, so even I believe that religious knowledge is definitely knowledge, since a lot of what we know as philosophy these days, or the knowledge systems that we.
Okay. So we are on the same page, like religious knowledge is knowledge. So what I have read before this discussion about the knowledge, what is knowledge and what is religious knowledge. So in we come to the Western philosophy, they divide knowledge into two parts. One is descriptive knowledge and another one is direct knowledge, that we directly pursue or directly uh, observe. So direct knowledge is something like pain, pleasure, my own inner desires, emotions. These kind of knowledge are direct knowledge, which which are also a kind of subjective knowledge, right? Second knowledge is objective knowledge, descriptive knowledge, and again that knowledge is divided into two parts. One is formal knowledge, that is knowledge of mathematics, logic, this kind of knowledge, and another one is factual knowledge, right? So they argue that religious knowledge is not a knowledge because we cannot put it into the bracket of truth verification, because we cannot evaluate it if whether it is a truth or not. It is a kind of subjective knowledge that is beyond the verification. So in this sense, it doesn't come under the knowledge that is that we can verify.
Okay, so I'll take, Humean skepticism into account. Okay, fine. So Hume gives his famous fork, okay, fork of knowledge. So two strands emerge from the fork. One is analytical knowledge, the other is synthetic knowledge. The analytic is what you say as the formal knowledge, okay. So if formal knowledge is a definite kind of knowledge, it's a knowledge by virtue of definition, by virtue of language, okay. That's we define analytically. No, so every bachelor is unmarried, it's a kind of a formal knowledge, okay. But when you take even synthetic knowledge into account, it suffers from the problem of induction. Even that knowledge cannot be verified indefinitely. It's only hypothetically a case of knowledge. So now that's why, when the philosophy took a naturalist turn after 20th century, now people have this construction of intuitive knowledge, which is non-propositional, non-representational in character. So you have to account for these kind of possibilities because verification is a test. It's this instrumentality. It's not within the structure of knowledge. Its constituent parts are only justification, the truth condition, and the belief condition. So we need to question the belief condition to actually discard the notion of religious knowledge. And if we cannot attack on the belief condition, we cannot discard it. The condition is this.
So what you are suggesting, it is coming into synthetic knowledge?
Yeah. I would consider it as synthetic, but a priori, because have you heard about this modal logic theory of Saul Kripke? Saul Kripke, naming and necessity. So he gave this theory of that there are certain truths which are contingent a priori truths. So there can be certain things which are only propositional in character. So take the example of Pascal's wager. Have you heard of Pascal's wager? Pascal gave this argument to how do you base your religious knowledge, the construction of God. What is the rationality behind this? So he puts forward his wager. Wager is that, so believe that there is no God, or there might be some God. Okay. So if there is a God, then you will be eternally damned, or the theory of eternal damnation, if you don't believe in God. And if it doesn't exist, you don't suffer anything. So it's actually rational to believe in the idea of God. So this is called Pascal's wager. So it's also justified. The belief condition is also justified. So it falls within the structure of knowledge, religious knowledge, philosophical.
Ron, do you have something to add or argue against it, whatever Tushar has said? Or Neetu or whoever?
Yeah, I think it is not something that needs much debate, that religious knowledge is also a sort of knowledge, because even if we go through the history of ideas or the history of philosophy, you'll see that a lot of the philosophies that we have handed down to us comes from philosophical knowledge that we have had in the past, from the religious knowledge, the religious knowledge that we have had in the past. For example, what we know of Aristotle is a lot of those things written by that we read Aristotle from are translations or something that was handed down by Arab scholars. They were basically religious scholars. So I think religious, not just in that sense. Like for instance, if we talk about hermeneutics, even hermeneutics can be seen as something that was originally intended for religious purposes, to understand the Bible better, but now it's applied to a larger frame of work. So I think, yeah, religious knowledge and can be understood as knowledge first, as we understand any other knowledge, I think. So,
Okay. Okay. So I think anyone in this group disagree with this religious knowledge is not a kind of knowledge. It is something beyond knowledge. If not, then we can move on to the nature of this knowledge. What is the nature and how? Because in this case, Burari case, let's take the example. Whatever they have thought about it, this is that we are going to do, and then it will happen something like that. Whatever they have thought, we don't know. Yeah. But can we put it into religious knowledge, or how we will distinguish between the superstition and religious knowledge? What are the parameters? How can we do that in normal life for normal people?
Yes.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma'am.
Hello. Yes, actually, still I am not able to understand the topic. How religious knowledge is a kind of knowledge. Actually, if someone can elaborate about it. Actually, I am a student of existentialism. Basically, I am a student of Indian philosophy, and I understand religion as a faith system, not as a system of knowledge. Knowledge is somewhat related to your mental faculties, I think. So, but for me, religion is something different. Maybe I hope you understand what I want to say. So, I would like someone to explain me. Actually, I am ignorant how religious knowledge is a knowledge of your mental caliber. How it arises out of your brain capabilities, I just want to know about it, if someone can explain it.
Okay, I think I'll take a stand here. I will take this argument, what is known as knowledge argument by Frank Jackson, actually. Okay.
Okay.
So what he says that there is this cognitive scientist, Mary, she has been into black and white room for whole of his life. She knew everything about it. She knew everything about what is a red color, what is the frequency of a red light, and what every descriptive conditions which involves mental faculties of of knowledge, what constituted as knowledge. But for the first time when Mary landed in the outside colorful world, she saw red color, and for the first time she came to know about what it is like to see redness, which could not have been accounted by the traditional mental faculties of knowledge. So there is always a subjective aspect of knowledge, what it is, which is given by Thomas Nagel in his essay. I don't know what is the name of essay. What it is like to be a bat. Yeah, that's the name of essay. There is always a subjective element in the experience of knowledge, which constitutes a part of knowledge which is over and above the traditional structure of knowledge, and that is the subjectivity, the experience of knowledge. So varieties of religious experience, W.S. James argues somewhat in this line, that there is always a religious experience over and above what we already know, and that constitutes a part of knowledge.
What you are suggesting, Tushar, I am interrupting you. You are saying subjective knowledge is the basis of religious knowledge, but subjective knowledge cannot be true or false, right? It is beyond truth and falseness, so it is not be verifiable. See, this is the problem.
Truth is a metaphysical. Truth is a metaphysical construct, not an epistemic construct. You need to, take it.
It is the epistemic.
It's not an epistemic construction. Truth is a metaphysical and ontological fact.
That is okay, but what is about the verifiability of knowledge? If we know anything, we need to verify it if it is our knowledge is true or not.
See,
That is what epistemology does.
so there is this commonly held belief that truth has to be absolute. Okay. So do
I'm
you
not saying absolute, but there should be some parameters to verify it. But in the subjective knowledge, there is no
so
verification.
the verification can hold only for this the positivistic kinds of knowledge. I don't think you can confine, even things can be contingently.
Okay. Let's come to the case, right? If we agree with Tushar and we come to this case, and let's say another aspect that Rekha ma'am is raising.
No, actually, may I interrupt here?
Yes.
Actually, I cannot quote so many examples and so many theories. Okay, how do I understand philosophy and how do I understand different kinds of belief systems? Especially, I am just talking about religion. I am not talking about logic and positivistic philosophies and other philosophies. A range is there. But I am talking about religion. When it comes to religion, it is, the sentence is very right, it is subjective knowledge. But when it is subjective, it cannot have any truth value. You are right, Manish, Dr. Manish, you are right. In objectivity, we can say this thing is valid and this thing is invalid. But in religious experience, it is purely subjective, based on intuition, based on your self-realization when it comes to religion. Okay? Because here we are referring to Burari case according to my knowledge and my belief system, and Burari system is not related to any religious system.
Exactly.
It is a kind of bad faith of Shastra. It is a kind of bad faith of Shastra. Whatever we believe in the name of religion is not faith. We can have many examples throughout the world. In the name of religion, what do we experience? So, when it comes to prove the validity of God, validity of soul, validity of mysticism, a lot of theories are there. But when it comes to Burari case, it is not based on religious experience. It is based on soul system. Whether there is soul after death, whether we can connect to that system or not. That was based on superstition. Superstition's word is itself very much capable to define the system of Burari case, I think. It is not religion. There is no God in Burari case. If I am right. I don't understand.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So, anyone else has to say anything about it? So far, whatever we have discussed.
I think the distinction that has to be made, which is more important than the distinction between what is knowledge and what is religious knowledge, is that we should distinguish a religious experience from superstition, like Dr. Rekha pointed out.
Yeah.
So that should be the direction of our discussion.
So, can we do it in an objective way or in 2-3 points? How can we differentiate between, if we focus on subjective knowledge or subjectivity of experience, then we cannot discriminate between superstition and faith.
Yeah.
Can we?
Sure, and I do second Rekha ma'am's thought, and I think if we can continue with her thought process on this case, if we can hear more from her.
Yeah.
I would also like to add something on the discussion which is going on. So, somebody just now pointed out that why are we seeing this as philosophy of religion thing? And my query is the same, that why are we so bent on seeing this as a religious thing or a superstitious thing, whereas we should ask this question that wasn't it really a lack of purpose or meaning which made these people do what they did, and wasn't it about giving a direction, so to speak, to their life, which made them decide such a big thing? And also, as the documentary pointed out again and again, that they were all listening to this person who was acting like a patriarch. So it's more about a leading member of the family behaving like a patriarch and taking control, taking authority, and everybody else is just, following the direction.
I think that will be dealt in the third question, no?
Yeah, yeah. I think we should move on to, because we cannot clearly end the debate on that topic that we are touching right now. So we should move on to other aspects of this case. That is, so those all family members were submissive to one person. That is Lalit. I think his name was Lalit. So can we see this? We can move on to the debate to the authority, how it works in psychological terms, and submission of to authority, how it works. If you all want to say something about it and about the case, whatever you want to say.
Actually, Dr. Manish, you pointed out a very good point, good sentence. Actually, there is one authority in every case of this kind. If we see around us, I am from Kurukshetra. I'll put one example. Kurukshetra is a land of such superstitions, I would say. I have seen many men and women working on these lines in Kurukshetra, and people follow them. Every day, hundreds and hundreds of people are going out there. Okay, it is not their authority. Actually, it is our weakness. Suppose it is in my consciousness, I want something, I have lack of something, I want to fill that. If it is not in my capability to fill, in my existentialism, we see that if I am not capable to do anything, I move to these directions. If I see someone is capable to fulfill my needs out of this mysticism or these unseen powers, I just simply bow in front of them. This was the authority that person was exercising on his family in Burari case, because he was, I think, actually I have not seen your documentary, but that time I was concerned with that case very much, and that time it was propagated that that person was convincing his family that he is going to contact his ancestors and they will put some kinds of blessings on their family. So it was weakness of the family that was that made them behave like this. And it was such a deep faith, according to them, that was faith, but actually that was superstition. Okay, that was superstition in the name of faith, that it would happen, it would happen. Although we see in practical world, there is nothing like this that can be proved true. So, I think something is clear, it is my weakness if I follow these people. It is not their authority.
Okay, Manish ji.
Am I right?
Yes, yes, sure.
Yeah, ma'am, go ahead.
No, I am done. Actually, at this point, I am done. You can say.
Yeah, Manish ji, but I want to know whether we would include Vedic corpus within the realm of religious knowledge.
Vedic corpus means
The whole the Samgita, Upanishad, Aranyak, Brahmanas.
उसमें देखिए उसको भी दो भागों में बांटते हैं ना, श्रुति और दूसरा बोलते हैं
Smarta Shastra or that's a different thing. But would you take that the whole body as a corpus of knowledge?
Of course, but it is not. It tries to prove things. It tries to communicate with the people those are not having experiences, right? So we cannot move in that particular direction, but it is a knowledge, some kind of knowledge, and we try to read it as
So I think
we have developed hermeneutics.
Yeah.
Hermeneutics is a kind of effort, a kind of practice to know what they are trying to see.
Yeah,
say,
interpretation of
right?
text. Yeah.
Yeah, interpretation of text.
Yeah.
So that is, but still, what are the parameters that we can bring from subjectivity to objectivity? We have to find some parameters.
Yeah. So I think in any knowledge system, even belief conditions, there are some beliefs which are decorative. Okay. There are some which are instrumental. in any body of knowledge, even in scientific knowledge, mathematical knowledge, there are things which don't have any verifiability. So, say, imaginary numbers.
Very
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Chandra. Ma'am. You were saying something?
We cannot reduce everything to the verifiability,
Yeah.
but we have we have to
I was,
find new ways to verify.
so I was, making some points. So in any corpus of knowledge, in any body of knowledge, we need to have a scheme of knowledge. There are certain which are decorative, which are instrumental, which are pragmatic. So in the same sense, we can always assign. Have you heard of that the essay Two Dogmas of Empiricism by Quine?
Yeah.
So he said that there is no distinction like analytic and synthetic divided. It doesn't exist in actuality. The same way, there is always a ratio of the kind of decorative content and the pragmatic content of in any corpus of knowledge. And that's so the universalization of the structure of knowledge is part of the problem, I think.
I agree. There is a difference, but if you stay on your point and apply that on this case, that's what we want now. I think so that we can move on this discussion and we can
Okay.
conclude to something. Like if you are saying religious knowledge is subjective knowledge, you stay with that idea and apply on this case.
Mm-hmm.
So how can we discriminate between the faith and superstition? That is what my core question here is.
The faith
In that case, especially.
okay. I think faith and it's a very valid question. How can we separate the belief which is based
जैसे
on
उन्होंने
faith?
जो भी कुछ किया सारे लोगों ने 11 लोगों ने उन्होंने एक विधि बनाई उसको एक प्रॉपर फॉलो किया ना उसके बाद में दे हैंग उसके बाद क्या हुआ वो उनकी सब्जेक्टिव हमें नहीं पता है लेकिन हम ऑब्जेक्टिवली उस पूरे केस को देख रहे हैं ठीक है तो हम उसको सुपरस्टिशन के दायरे में लाएंगे या हम उसको ये कहेंगे कि उनका एक इट इज वेरी हार्ड टू टेक अ डिसीजन
No, but this is not
मैं कुछ और कहना चाह रहा हूँ मैं ये मेरा पॉइंट सिर्फ ये है कि किसी को देखिए किसी को बोल देना कि भाई आत्मा होती है अमर होती है ये सब बोलना एक अलग चीज है लेकिन इस पे इतना गहरा विश्वास करना कि यू हैंग दिस इज समथिंग अनबिलीवेबल उन लोगों ने किया तो इसका मतलब ये उनका फेथ बहुत गहरा था they were not teaching or preaching others they did it themselves even जो ललित ने खुद किया ये नहीं है कि फैमिली मेंबर्स को करा के वो खुद बच गया he did at the end so there was great belief whatever they thought.
Okay, so you are taking a consequential approach, I think here. Okay.
I just want to add something to it, Manish. The details of the kind of the final act that they did in the documentary. So what really got my interest is that if it was really faith and if it was really complete surrender, then why would they, tie their hands and their legs? So was there, something, a thought behind their mind that they should not try to escape it? That, and one of the members, he also tried, the big brother, I guess, he also tried to, remove the rope from the neck. So he did try that. His hand was in the upward direction and it was found that way. So can you call it complete surrender when they were aiming for something else? Maybe they did not realize that they would die in the process. Maybe they did not realize this. So yeah, that I think is
It's a very interesting point.
I agree, Tanya. You have raised a valid point and interesting point that we were missing so far. तो मुझे लगता है कि ये हो सकता है कि उनके मन में डाउट आए जैसे हमें जब भी हमें विल वीकनेस कभी भी हो सकती है लेकिन दे हैव डिसाइडेड और मे बी दे हैव एम समथिंग लाइक जैसे कि उसमें दिखा रहे थे डॉक्यूमेंट्री में कि उनको ये उम्मीद थी कि हमारी प्रॉस्पेरिटी बढ़ जाएगी या हम इसके बाद में और अच्छी स्थिति में पहुंचेंगे तो हो सकता है कि उनको कुछ और समझ में आ रहा हो और हुआ कुछ और लेकिन फिर भी खुद को इस चीज के लिए मनाया पूरी फैमिली ने कि हम मतलब उनको ये तो पता था इस चीज की तो प्रोबेबिलिटी ये तो रियल था कि हम इसके हैंग होने के बाद में चांसेस ये है कि हम मरेंगे ज्यादातर प्रोबेबिलिटी तो इसी चीज की है तो जैसे भी हुआ उसमें अब ये मर्डर केस का भी कुछ लोग कह रहे हैं लेकिन उसमें हम शायद अभी तो हमें यही मानना पड़ेगा कि जो भी डॉक्यूमेंट्री ने दिखाने की कोशिश करी है
that is what you're saying जब वो अगर वो ऐसे सोच रहे हैं तो वो सो दैट मीन्स that their rationality is still working. Their rational mind is still working. But when we are talking about faith, वहाँ हम बोल रहे हैं कि rationality खत्म हो चुकी है, वहाँ सिर्फ faith है, वहाँ सिर्फ surrender है. So when was the rationality, वो कब उस पे end लगा, कब stop हुई, faith कब शुरू हुआ? We cannot be sure of this, and we can also not be sure of the motivation. What led them into it? Maybe it was just a means to some end, like you said. It was prosperity or something else, and they did not put so much mind into it. They were like, okay, this is a way of going about it, and we are gaining so far. It is going well for our family. We are gaining from it, so let's try this also. So maybe it was just that. I mean, we can think of that person.
Right.
Actually, I would like to add something. Actually, his point is right, but if every one of you remember actual state of affairs that time, there were some registers. It was a gradual process. Gradually, they reached to this point. It was not a one-day achievement of the whole family to die into this faith. Okay, they had registered and they were practicing it for years. For years and years, that person was convincing his family that he is in contact with some person, and there were some coincidences in the family that person was proved right in front of his family. Suppose one day he said, my father is coming and saying that it will happen, and suddenly that thing happened. Okay, so they built their faith out of months, out of years actually.
Right.
And that night when the family died, that was also a well prepared night. If you remember TV clips on the TV clips that were shown that day, they prepared everything themselves. They brought stools, they brought ropes. Actually, I've not gone through this documentary. So faith, there was written, when they will hang you, there will be thunderstorm, there will be a little bit of uneasiness, and suddenly then you will come back to your life. So earlier it was faith that all of them agreed to it, but when they feel strangulated, when they felt uneasy, then that person must have tried to release himself out of that system. Right. Because that was physical uneasiness, that was not lack of faith at that moment. Suppose you think, I will do suicide, I will die and I will jump into the river, and when I go into the river I feel that I can't breathe and I will just move my hands and legs out of that water.
So that is something like physical resistance.
Yeah, that was physical resistance, that was not one moment change of faith. Okay, because those persons felt, and when they died there was no one to question what happened to that kind of promise that they would come back from the death. Okay, so if you go through the whole thing, the whole story, you remind the whole story, that faith was built over years, that there is one ancestor who is showering prosperity on the family. It was actually the case.
Right.
And this kind of faith, yes, and this kind of faith in Indian family is built over years. You can see generally in our families. If I tell that there is one astrologer, and who can predict so much well that after 5 years or 10 years what is going to happen with you, it is a kind of determinism. Determinism we study in Indian philosophy, and people do believe in determinism. Maximum Indians, they do believe in determinism. Maybe everyone is not able to go to this extent.
Right.
That's why we are discussing Burari case. Everyone is not able to go to this extent, but they believed over years. That's all.
Okay, I read this essay, some time back. God does not like cheap signaling. So it argues in favor that any belief, unless we have some skin in the game, it does not carry any value at all. But now this is somewhat, analogous to Pascal's wager. So even the religious beliefs demand a certain kind of sacrifice from you. They have some injunctions in the ritual injunctions. But when the price to pay is, your life, the whole argument fails, the whole rationality goes for a toss. you need to have a certain kind of backing, certain kind of trust built into the idea of belief by sacrificing something physical or something emotional, and that's how this whole idea has evolved over the period of time. But it's rare because we have witnessed in the case of the Santhara, there is Jain suicide, or the Jal Samadhi or other kind of things, extreme acts. And they are, people do believe there was this case in Supreme Court that should it be, considered as a form of suicide or not.
Mhm.
Okay. Yes.
So what is your argument in this? I'm not getting it.
I say that, yeah, belief should be backed with a certain kind of sacrifice because, but extreme sacrifices don't make any sense. The whole rationality goes for a toss.
Actually, have you ever read Kierkegaard? Kierkegaard.
Yeah, I have not.
Yes.
I'm not. The leap of faith argument. I know about that argument, but I have not read.
No, that was not leap of faith. Actually, he discussed the story of Abraham and Isaac, if you remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Manish,
Yeah.
Abraham and Isaac. This story explains how does it happen. Okay. This is a very long story. I would not like to discuss. The faith system very well explained in this story, and I would suggest everyone to go through this story. What is story of Abraham and Isaac explained by Kierkegaard. And second argument of Kierkegaard was on ethical point, that he took 3 days. Actually, he took 3 days to take Isaac to that mountain where he was going to be sacrificed. And that 3-day journey of a father with his son who is going to cut his throat, okay, that would explain how faith wins out of rationality, how faith wins out of ethical points.
Exactly.
Sometimes faith becomes against ethical points also.
Yeah.
And the whole religious system of Christianity, the whole religious system of Mohammedan religion, that is dependent on sacrifice and feeling of guilt.
Right.
Although in Indian religious system we have a different kind of explanation, I think, but this point is explained in Christianity and Mohammedan religion very well. So we need one complete discussion on this topic.
Right. So I
time
really
is
want to
not-
move on to the another aspect of this case, that is psychological and sociological aspects that we can explore a bit.
Actually, it is psychological. I read a story on the internet, just a 2-line story was there. A couple married, they came in contact on internet. And how did they celebrate the first day of their marriage? That they decided that they would murder a person today. Their first meeting after marriage, they married and they went back their home, and they came in a garage. Somehow that girl seduced a boy to meet her in the garage. Her husband came and both of them murdered. Okay, and they enjoyed like anything. This is psychological aspect which cannot be explained in real terms, I tell you, because there is one great psychologist, I don't remember I forgot his name actually. And he explained a lot of psychological aspects of human brain are there which cannot be explained medically, which cannot be explained emotionally or any other way. So faith somewhere is difficult to explain. How it wins over rationality and how it wins over, I think it is just lack in our lives, it is our needs, it is our desire that proves so fatal to our rationality.
Hume also said no reason is slave to passions.
Yeah, it is. But if we see it from psychological perspective, so psychology talks about the irrationality. Actually, psychology is some kind of it is a kind of science which is rationalizing the irrational, in my view.
Yes.
Because they bring up the unconscious motivations and desires which motivate a person to do certain things. Like the man gave the example of a couple. In this same very case, Burari case, what psychological aspects we see? Neetu, would you like to say anything about this? or any other, because we three people are only speaking.
So, the second question which is there, which Manish is asking, that can you examine mental health of an individual on the basis of normal social function? So, because I want to address this question on the basis of our documentary only. In Indian tradition, in Indian culture,
Ritu, can you put on your video if you? If
I'm
there is no problem.
on phone, so नहीं आ पाएगा वो ना. तो I'll try. मैं लैपटॉप से कनेक्ट करने की कोशिश कर रही हूँ. तो I want to say कि जो मेंटल प्रॉब्लम है हमारी ट्रेडिशन में, स्पेशली इंडियन ट्रेडिशन में, उसको बहुत ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंस दी नहीं जाती. और अगर जो भी हिस्टेरिया हुआ ललित को या जो भी साइकोसिस भी हुआ, दैट इज बिकॉज ऑफ लैक ऑफ डायलॉग.
That is because of lack of dilemma.
Dialogue.
Dialogue.
Lack of dialogue.
Lack of dialogue. Why? Because our society is constructed in such a way that we don't like in our family also हम सब बातचीत करते हैं, बट उस तरीके का डायलॉग नहीं होता है, क्योंकि हम एक मॉरली और एथिकली कंस्ट्रक्टेड सोसाइटी में रहते हैं, जहाँ पर क्वेश्चनिंग करना उसको, जैसे कि तुषार ने कहा, फेथ और रिलीजन के बेसिस पे हम क्वेश्चन नहीं करते और हम सोचते हैं कि ये तो चला ही आ रहा है, तो व्हाई वुड बी क्वेश्चन. सो आई थिंक दैट द साइकोलॉजिकल इंक्वायरी, स्पेशली इस डॉक्यूमेंट्री में काफ़ी जर्नलिस्ट ने भी बोला साइकोलॉजिकल बीमारी, बट आई फाइंड इट वेरी अ सोशल प्रॉब्लम, a problem which is related to human consciousness, and because there is of course psyche में कोई भी rationality तो बाद में आती है, पहले तो belief system से ही सब कुछ शुरू होता है. और belief system जो हमारा जो world view है, वो हमेशा हमारे assumption से, हमारे unconscious view से हमेशा एक constant flux में चलता है जो हमारी society में है. So, if you see the second question, कि कैसे हम एग्जामिन करें, मैं क्वेश्चन पे ही प्रिसाइज हूँ कि कैसे एग्जामिन करें कि कोई इंडिविजुअल ठीक है फिर भी उसको कोई मेंटल प्रॉब्लम है. आई वुड से दैट स्ट्रेस इज अ पार्ट ऑफ आवर लाइफ, एंड द थ्री एस्पेक्ट विच इज कॉग्निटिव, अफेक्टिव एंड कॉग्निटिव, इनकी हार्मनी और इनकी बैलेंस करना ही पार्ट होता है. लेकिन ऐसे कई लोग हैं हमारी सोसाइटी में, अगर हम देखें, who want to talk to us.
I'm interrupting you and want to focus on this particular case. How do you see it? Because as you said, this is a social phenomena, but I don't see it social. I would argue against you, because it is a kind of, they built their own theory. They were not following any particular specific religion that is prevailing in the society. So it is exception case. I wouldn't say it is representing whole society.
Of
If
course,
you are saying so,
they were following religion. वहाँ पर हिंदू लोगों की फोटो थी, हिंदू गॉड की फोटो थी. Of course, they were following religion.
What I'm saying, what they did, it was not based on any religion that is prevailing in the society. They built their own theory, their own registers that they were following. So what was causing it? If you would like to highlight on that.
Of course, lack of dialogue. Lack of dialogue. I would
Between whom? They were. I think one person was giving them direction, and he was not writing himself. His knees were writing those registers. He was just dictating her, and she was writing. So there was a kind of closeness within family. They were following one person blindly. So
yeah.
How there was a lack of communication on dialogue?
कहीं तो अगर हम ललित की अगर हिस्ट्री देखें तो बहुत सारी सर्टेन चीजें हुई जहाँ पर हीलिंग रिक्वायर्ड थी, हीलिंग नहीं हुई, और वो एक बिलीफ सिस्टम से तो जरूर गुजर ही रहा होगा जिसने उसको जकड़ा होगा. और
actually she is right. क्योंकि
वो ड्यूरेशन इतना बड़ा हो गया है, तो वो एक साइकिक प्रॉब्लम बन गई है एक तरीके से.
Yes, absolutely right. Actually, in our society, we don't discuss things. We don't solve problems. We don't solve problems.
Yeah.
From the very root system, actually today we were talking in college, and you will realize that our principal, he was talking about some physical problems of girls who are facing in the college. If I am allowed to say, there were not sanitary napkins available in the college and girls were missing college. You understand? If girls are not able to demand in the college anything from lady teachers also, we are lady teachers, girls, they don't discuss with us. Okay, right. So we have created a system of dialogue. Dialogue, she is very right, this word is right actually. So we do not discuss things in our family also. We go through so many problems when we are in college, when we are in school. We don't discuss with our parents, we don't discuss with our friends. We are living in a very enclosed psychological system. That enclosed psychological system, we find recluse, we find peace in certain things. So here faith system develops in wrong things also sometimes.
But I think Manish has a point.
I agree with Neetu and you both. But what I am pointing is how we can see this in this particular case.
Yes, in this particular case, I think I can explain, because I have understood that point, lack of dialogue, because the personality of a person is developed over years. It is not a making of 1 or 2 or 3 years. Suppose I am 40 years old, I am 50 years old, my personality is made over 40 and 50 years. If that person is accepted with this kind of personality in his family, it means his children, his wife, his brothers, his sisters, they are living in that system for years and years. Okay? 10 years is not enough. It means they have this tradition in their family for many years, for maybe for 50 or 100 years. No one tried to solve the problem rationally. No one tried to solve the problems of their family, their financial problems, their psychological problems in a right manner. And they took shelter in these things. That was lack of dialogue, I think. Am I right, Madam Neetu?
मनीषी, या यू राइट सौमित. जैसे कि आपने कहा कि सोशल प्रॉब्लम कैसे है और कैसे सब लोग एक व्यक्ति के आगे सब सरेंडर कर देते. अगर हम डॉक्यूमेंट्री को ठीक से देखें तो वी फाइंड कि ये प्रॉब्लम मटेरियलिज्म से पैरासाइकोलॉजिकल है, क्योंकि उनकी दुकानें जल गई थी, व्हाटएवर हैपेंड विद ललित, तो उसके ऊपर बहुत ज़्यादा साइकोलॉजिकल एस्पेक्ट पड़ा. और हालांकि दे हैव एवरीथिंग, दे हैव मनी, दे हैव शॉप्स एंड एवरीथिंग. वो पैरासाइकोलॉजिकल कैसे बन गई? और ऐसा नहीं है कि उसमें भी जर्नलिस्ट बता रहे थे डॉक्यूमेंट्री में कि वो हर चीज़ को परफेक्ट करने की कोशिश में था कि आप ऐसा कीजिए, आप ऐसा कीजिए. और कई हद तक शायद सरेंडर, और सब लोग इसीलिए उनकी मान रहे थे क्योंकि उनको भी लगने लगा कि हाँ, बिकॉज ललित सर ने ऐसा कहा है तो मे बी हमारा और अच्छा होगा, और अच्छा होगा, और अच्छा होगा. तो ये भी एक हो सकता है. तो मुझे तो ये मटेरियलिज्म से पैरासाइकोलॉजिकल प्रॉब्लम लगती है. कमिंग बैक टू आवर क्वेश्चन, जो कि सेकंड क्वेश्चन था कि हम कैसे एग्जामिन करें, हाउ कैन वी एग्जामिन मेंटल हेल्थ ऑफ एन इंडिविजुअल. उस पर मेरे को तुषार से, आपसे और जितने भी लोग हैं यहाँ पे, आई वांट टू आस्क देम, हाउ कैन वी एग्जामिन मेंटल हेल्थ ऑफ एन इंडिविजुअल ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ नॉर्मल सोशल फंक्शन. कैसे पता लगाएं कि हमारे जो अगल बगल लोग हैं, दे आर ईटिंग प्रॉपर्ली, दे आर स्लीपिंग प्रॉपर्ली, दे आर टॉकिंग प्रॉपर्ली. कैसे पता लगाएं कि दे आर फेसिंग और एनी मेंटल हेल्थ प्रॉब्लम. I think there are several questions here which are intertwined, as you were discussing. Like Ms. Neetu said that this is a social, psychological problem, but a social problem. In the aspect of Lalit, I agree to it to an extent, because if we just see the aspect of Lalit, you don't involve the family. Okay, we are talking about the history, we are talking about the origin of it. So we talk about Lalit. And there can be many people in our society like Lalit, okay, who are functioning normally, behaving normally. In his case, he wasn't really behaving normally, but in Indian society, because mental health is a stigma, so we don't really observe those things, you know. So that's the part of the problem. That when he had that history of trauma, okay, he had a bike accident. Then afterwards, he had, you know, he was set on fire, and so it's a very big thing. But because in Indian society, we just feel that the physical trauma is trauma, and once you heal physically, that means that you have healed fully. So that is part of the problem, that he should have gone under, you know, some sort. And the question that you were raising, Manish, about family, that you know, was it psychological or was it social, and they had their own cult sort of a thing. That's true. I think that is where the role of families, how they sometimes, you know, tend to function very secretly, and this whole concept of authority and घर की बात घर में ही रहनी चाहिए, this aspect comes in. That becomes important. That is another issue to be, you know, dealt
Right.
with.
Manishi,
एक पॉइंट में तीसरा बिंदु जो जिस ओर मैं ले जाना चाह रहा हूँ वो ये है कि जो अथॉरिटेरियन साइकी जो है वो हमारी सोसाइटी में है, जो नीतू और रेखा हम दोनों और तानिया ने भी उठाया है कि सोसाइटी से कनेक्ट ऑब्वियसली ये चीजें हो रही हैं, क्योंकि ये एक हमारी एक पूरी सोसाइटी में अथॉरिटेरियन कंसाइंस है। कंसाइंस इस सेंस में कि जो अथॉरिटी है वो रेशनल है या इरेशनल है। अगर अथॉरिटी ने कह दिया है तो वी हैव टू फॉलो इट विदाउट आर्गुइंग अगेंस्ट इट, विदाउट रिवोल्टिंग अगेंस्ट इट। ये कहीं ना कहीं एक हमारी परवरिश में आ रही है और इस फैमिली में वो एक्सट्रीम पे पहुंच गई, और उस एक्सट्रीम पे पहुंचने में एक 10 साल लगे। 2008 से वो रजिस्टर के थ्रू ही वॉज गिविंग डिक्टेट्स। तो इसको हम ऐसे भी देख सकते हैं कि कैसे हम साइकोलॉजिकली पहले छोटी छोटी चीजें स्टेप बाय स्टेप अगर हम किसी चीज को करने लग जाते हैं तो वी कैन रीच टू द एक्सट्रीम। जैसे उसने छोटे छोटे स्टेप किए कि आज तुमने ये गलत किया, ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए था, इसके लिए तुम्हें माफी मांगनी पड़ेगी या उसके लिए दंड देना पड़ेगा। इस तरह के कई सारे सेंटेंसेस उसमें दिखाए गए थे डॉक्यूमेंट्री में। मैंने पूरा रजिस्टर्स नहीं पढ़े, अगर हम उसको पूरी तरह से पढ़ें तो शायद हम और डिटेल में उसको वो कर पाएंगे, एनालाइज कर पाएंगे। लेकिन कुल मिला के जो इसको लेके मैं एरिक फ्रोम पे काम कर रहा हूँ, तो उन्होंने इस पे अथॉरिटेरियन पर्सनैलिटी पे लेके ना नाजी में उस समय रिसर्च की थी कि कैसे होल नेशन वॉज फॉलोइंग हिटलर। ऐसी क्या चीज थी कि जिसकी वजह से उसको ये नहीं दिख रहा था कि ये आदमी तो सबको मार देना चाह रहा है, लेकिन पूरा नेशन उसके पीछे था। तो दिस इज समथिंग लाइक सोशल साइकोसिस। इसको उसने एरिक फ्रोम ने टर्म दिया है सोशल डिफेक्ट और पैथोलॉजी ऑफ नॉर्मेलिटी। कि पैथोलॉजी है वो पूरी सोसाइटी में है, पैथोलॉजिकल है, और उसमें जो तानिया ने बात कही ना कि इस तरह के कैरेक्टर, जो ललित जैसे कैरेक्टर को हम नॉर्मल मान लेते हैं, क्योंकि कई बार अथॉरिटेरियन पर्सनैलिटी को हम लोग सोसाइटी में अप्रिशिएट करते हैं बेसिकली। तो ये एक तरह की पैथोलॉजी होते हुए भी नॉर्मल हो जाती है। इस कॉन्सेप्ट को इस तरह से उसने एक्सप्लेन किया है। मे बी वी कैन डिस्कस ऑन इट और वी कैन share some document on pathology of normality. Anything you all want to say about pathology or authoritarianism in our society that is governed by patriarchy actually?
So when you were trying to give that example of Nazis, what are you really connecting? I didn't get that.
The main question that these researchers, these are called critical theorists in Germany. You have heard about Frankfurt School, right?
Yeah.
They begin their research with the question that कि ये जितने भी अथॉरिटेरियन उस समय पे गवर्नमेंट थी हिटलर का या नाजीज़म जब शुरू हो रहा था, तो लोगों को ये समझ में आ रहा था कि ये लॉन्ग टर्म में हमारे जितने भी राइट्स हैं, हमारी फ्रीडम है, वी आर गोइंग टू सरेंडर टू दिस मैन। बट पीपल वर विलिंग टू डू दैट। व्हाट वाज दैट फिनोमेना इन ह्यूमन साइकी? ये इस क्वेश्चन से उन्होंने शुरू किया। तो उसको उन्होंने जब रिसर्च किया तो उन्होंने देखा कि कुछ लोग होते हैं जो कहीं ना कहीं अनकॉन्शियसली अपने आप को भी नुकसान पहुंचाना चाहते हैं और दूसरे को भी नुकसान पहुंचाना चाहते हैं, जिसको साइकोलॉजी में बोलते हैं सैडिस्ट या दूसरे मैसोचिस्ट। दो टर्म होती हैं जिनके थ्रू वो कनेक्ट होते हैं, मतलब सिम्बायोटिक रिलेशनशिप होता है उसमें। दे नीड सम अथॉरिटी। इफ बी कनेक्टेड विद द एग्जिस्टेंशियल फिलॉसफी, जो शास्त्र या बाकी लोगों ने भी कहा है कि हमारी जो फ्रीडम है, it brings so much responsibility on us and we want to escape it. And the escaping is to find someone on whom we can throw it, our decision making. So we find an authoritarian personality. So we do it in politics also. We find a strong leader, or sometimes an actor. We make an image of an actor and we follow him. So these kind of things comes under this research. So this is what I am
Manish,
pointing at.
but I think your point is relevant because even why do we need an authority? This was raised, famously by Hobbes in his books Leviathan. So this talks about a contractarian tradition in which we are willing, to submit an authority for the greater welfare of an individual and of a society as a whole. So the same way we can employ the tool of prisoner's dilemma in the case of Burari case also. Though there was essentially a Leviathan of sort, a patriarch of sort, and other people who were not so efficient or not contributing financially or physically for the well-being of the family were facing the choice of prisoner's dilemma. And then they literally had to submit to the authority. Now, the other part, this is a socio-political part. But from where this authority comes is the question. To which extent they are willing to submit to that authority. Because in any case, the law could say that authority cannot take certain natural rights. And that's a given. That's how we accept it. So from where this sense of surrender comes, that we can surrender each and everything, that is partly supplied by religious injunctions. That has to be granted, But it's a kind of pathological case of extreme case of fundamentalism, not the normal case.
Like, for example, in this Burari case, you can say that it is a really extreme case because it had such a consequence. But generally also, that as you were talking about money, is that this having an authoritative figure, getting seduced by it, and fan following, this is a very general phenomenon that we see, especially that we notice in India. That it is
everywhere actually.
It makes sense to people, most of us. It makes sense to us. It's not like you might be less of a follower, you might be less attracted to somebody, and someone might be more. So this whole concept of spiritual gurus being in India, being a hit in India, ever since, now also, even after being criminally accused, they are finding trust among common ordinary Indians. So what is the reason for it? I think that is a very intriguing question that you have raised, that why does authority appeal to a ordinary person so much?
Excuse me, यहाँ पे अथॉरिटी एंड लीडरशिप की बात हो रही है। तो एक एक्चुअली आई थिंक दैट वाज हेगल, उन्होंने एक बात बोली थी कि हाउ ए लीडर इज बॉर्न। ठीक है, लीडर की बात जब करते हैं तो उन्होंने बोला कि देयर इज ए मास अपील, एवरी वन ऑफ अस वांट्स समथिंग बट वी आर नॉट कैपेबल टू गेट दैट। देन ए पर्सन कम्स एंड ही promises that I will get you that thing. We follow that person. Simple thing is need. Okay. So word soul की जो बात करते हैं, कहते जब leaders born हुए, there was nothing special in Mahatma Gandhi, there was nothing special in Jawaharlal Nehru, there was nothing special in any kind of leader. There was need of people, and that person was simply promising to fulfill that need. That happened with Hitler also. He was raising a point of German superiority in the people. People were ready to sacrifice their children. Okay, उन्होंने इस चीज को रेस किया दूसरी रेसेस को inferior बता के, to gain that superiority of race, to gain that word power, लोगों ने उनको फॉलो किया, पावर को फॉलो करने के लिए। और जब लीडर स्ट्रांग होता है, जब आपका किंग स्ट्रांग होता है, तब उनको पता होता है वी विल गेट एवरीथिंग वॉट एवर वी वॉन्ट इफ वी आर सुपीरियर। अथॉरिटी, ये एक बहुत बड़े लेवल की बात हम कर रहे हैं, दिस इज लीडरशिप ऑन द लेवल ऑफ ए कंट्री और वर्ल्ड। लेकिन जब हम एक मैन की अथॉरिटी की बात करते हैं, हेयर द ग्रुप इज स्मॉल वन, से ग्रुप ऑफ 10 people, one person promised to gain them everything they want, every person had needs, simple things, और उनको लग रहा था if they are not capable, if they are not capable to connect to that person who can fulfill their needs, and that person is able to connect to that person, that we will surrender to it। दो क्वेश्चन होते हैं। येस्टरडे आई वाज वाचिंग टीवी, तो वहाँ पे एक बहुत सुसाइड बॉम्बर्स पे बहुत अच्छी एक बात आई थी। सुसाइड बॉम्बर्स जब यहाँ पे स्टार्ट हुए थे वर्ल्ड के अंदर आने, तो सुसाइड बॉम्बर्स के जो पेरेंट्स थे ना, उनको इनवाइट किया, वो जो पर्सन ने, जिनके बच्चों ने अपने आप को खत्म कर दिया था, ठीक है, और उनको उन्होंने पैसा दिया, कपड़े दिए, एंड द पेरेंट्स दे आर नेवर सेटिस्फाइड विथ क्लोथ्स एंड मनी इफ देयर चिल्ड्रन आर डाइंग लाइक दिस, but there was religious content in that। Everywhere when authority works, there is, the content is different, sometimes it is material need, sometimes it is religious need, sometimes it is something else, psychological need also, okay, psychological need of power also। And those person of Afghanistan, of Arabian countries, they sacrifice their children in the name of suicide bombers, that was a big thing। और उन्होंने मनी लिया और उनको वो रोए सब लोग मिलके, दे हग्ड ईच अदर, और वो सब अपने घर में चले गए कि ये पेट्रियोटिक फीलिंग के साथ गए। इट मीन्स दैट एक्सप्लेनेशन वाज रॉन्ग। वर्ड की सामने तो वो सुसाइड बॉम्बर्स थे, लेकिन पेरेंट्स के सामने देवर पेट्रियोटिक पर्सन, देवर रिलीजियस पर्सन, उनको लगा कि जन्नत में सब कुछ मिलेगा। एवरी टाइम व्हेन अथॉरिटी वर्क, एक्सप्लेनेशन इज डिफरेंट अकॉर्डिंग टू नीड ऑफ सिचुएशन, according to need of the person, and in Burari case authority was working in the name of superstition।
Yeah, so there is this special case of Jonestown, where there was no religious intention।
We have crossed our time, we are ahead of 10 minutes, so maybe we can conclude whatever we have discussed।
Yeah, sure।
If everyone wants to give some concluding points, you are welcome। Sumit bhai, you have joined us late, maybe you want to say something?
I just woke up because I'm very far. Over here, one more thing, how the case of Guru Yoga, is very prominent in the West, and everybody is possessed. How we possess, we get the attributes from the culture and society, and it is ingrained deep in our heart and mind that whatever we think, like the culture wanted, we follow blindly, superstitiously, whatever. In case of Burari, we have discussed the ontology. There is no epistemology. So still people are working in this case to get the epistemology. Psychologists working in their own way, philosophers working in their own way. It's a very case of, turning cult into occult, So that's because I am studying Tantra, so the case is not like authority or whatever, but the case is like how people start following. Everybody is following something. Everybody have their own faith in something. How we turn our faith into something. Suppose like I have a pen. I have a faith in pen that it will write because I have experience with that pen. So that is the case. So that turned into there was one guy who was saying that the faith started when the guy get his voice back. In Siddhi tradition, you have to show something like you have gained some power. So the first thing that he gets his voice back, that's why his faith in the family was so strong, and they were assuming that we will never die, because of that, and we will attain certain things. And second thing, the study is very much not complete because the Lalit, I think the protagonist in that movie, they didn't follow the criteria very firmly, because the bird yoga, bird what
Word
What
puja.
Puja?
bird puja.
Word puja.
The idea of bird puja, where that comes from in the Lalit?
Okay.
From
Yeah.
Tohana, from Delhi or something. Where is that? We have to look into the scriptures to get that idea. What is it? In order to decode that, you know, it's not the outspring of a mind. It's the outspring of a society. You know. So yeah.
Okay. So what are your submitting remarks on this case particularly? Because I know you are hinting something else that we are not discussing right now. We are discussing like the authority figure, something like in the family, people were feeling like vacuum of authority after their grandfather was died, and he placed himself at this place, and at some instances he spoke in his voice, and people believed in the family that this is the grandfather of the family, so they followed. So, but we were discussing right now. In the beginning, we discussed religious aspects, but right now we are discussing psychological and social aspects of this case, especially the authoritarian conscience that was within the family. No one uh, revolted against him. No one used their logic, their rational mind, and they followed him blindly. So, what were the reasons behind it at the psychological level and social level? So,
I think
what do you
I
say about it?
I think Indian societies very much want a leader in the family to run them. Every family, whether if you gain power through knowledge, like if you are teacher, your authority is there because you have saying. If you have economic power, people will listen to you.
Mhm.
In this case, they have a kind of uh, power in terms of cult or a cult power. They are assuming, like कईयों के घर में माता आ जाती है या कोई आ जाता है, so people blindly tilting towards that. So that house is turning to be okay. They have power and will get economically well. Here is some material concern is also there because the family is going to uplift their status and they have seen the poverty and gaining day by day. And the knowledge in this case is very much like how our society is trained. We are saying we are superstitious. No, this thing is happening very much in the West too. There are many cases like this in the West. Many cases. It's just a one case people are highlighting. West is full of that. Whether in Jewish tradition, whether in Christian tradition, if it is not there, people are going to temple. There they submit themselves to the Pandit or Maulvi or something. The power is outside something. Power is sometimes inside. So people need an authority because if they try to apply their mind, so they think we are not going. They are hitting a trial, no, because they are not.
Because you are suggesting people are most of common people are not trained to apply their mind. That's why they are following others. Their
Yes.
authority. They are looking
Yes.
for.
Means they are applying. If they are not succeeding, they are going for something to get some teaching or advice or something from the bade logos say. So they suggesting. So Lalit over here is a kind of possessing some power in a different way because he's economically well. Economic is because he is leading. So suddenly, like the guy, somebody is dying. Suppose it was a case of my Taiji. When my Taiji dies, three children get dispersed because Taiji was very much in economic figure. So they don't. After that, three of children don't know how to do with the economy in the house. So they fought with each other. They get separated. In this case, economic plays, a cult plays, and something you want to overpower the family too.
Okay. One more thing that you were suggesting there have been there are researches they are going on. So what are the basis of that research? that registers or something else we can use as a source?
I think there is a one cult happen in America. There like 100,000 people died, and they get their suicide.
Yeah, I was
Jonestown.
talking
Yeah,
about
they,
the
Jonestown.
in the Latin America,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
There was a
yeah,
guru who ordered to use
yeah,
themselves, right?
Man,
yeah. So
Yeah.
if you go to Durkheim, so they have a couple of pages for suicide or how people commit suicide, and the study on jihad and something. Power is also here. Okay, power. So how to decode? Because we are, but when we talk, we always talk in ontological basis, and we are, how to gain knowledge. That is a part of studies, like epistemology. We are making that knowledge. In case of possession, So earlier I was thinking that possession is something superstition. No, they have a very much theory of knowledge, how people get possessed. You know. So that there's stages of possession. It's not a one day. The belief and something like power is in somewhere at the house or in the society, which gain by someone, and they try to display this sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think there are various issues that we couldn't touch in this discussion, in this short discussion. So at the end, I would say this particular case has three aspects that we tried to touch. One is the religious knowledge. What are the sources of religious knowledge, and how can we define it in terms of cognitive knowledge? So we did it in the beginning. In the second question that we discussed in this discussion was about how can we say anyone is pathological, because the person who is functioning normally in the society. So if we cannot observe him as a pathological. In this case, especially in Burari case, people were acting normally in the last day. Even at the night, they were bringing things that they are going to use to tire themselves. So this is a question that we touched upon, but we couldn't reach at the conclusion. And the third question, that sociological and psychological needs of authoritarian conscience in the society. So we discussed it. The need of authority can be utilized by the superstitious people as well, right? So it is not always that some kind of right path or rational path will be given to you. It would be that if you are in the lack of authority, lack of rational thought, then you can follow someone which is superstitious, non-rational, without knowing it. So there has to be some sort of distinction how to understand the religious knowledge at a particular at individual level to follow it on. So on this note, I would end it. If someone else want to add something, please do it.
I think that's it.
I just want to point out one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Miss Rekha made this point that, when there's need in the society, the authoritative figure appears. Okay, so I think that's a very interesting question to dwell on. That does the authoritative figure, makes fulfills the need of the society, or the society itself decides that what authority we need or we want to follow. So that's one very interesting aspect that I think. And that one thing which I take from this case, Burari case, is I think it's important to talk about mental health. That should be our, that should be our takeaway, that we should prioritize mental health and talk about it as much as we can, so that people get more and more aware. So yeah.
But one thing again I would like to talk, like authority. Obviously, society chooses someone to be authority at the level of nation or society. But there should be a difference between rational authority and irrational authority. So if we do not discriminate between both, then all authorities are same. Like Gandhi and Hitler cannot be same in my view, because there is a difference of rationality and irrationality between both. So I don't know if need is about irrational things, then we should follow the irrational leaders.
No. Both of them have rationality. It's about morality then.
Exactly.
What do you find moral or immoral? Both of them have. Nazis have a rational appeal. You cannot say that they don't have a rational appeal.
Okay, then we will come to another debate, that is what is rationality and how we can differentiate it with the instrumental rationality.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
So okay, maybe we can discuss it separately, and the mental health issue, maybe we can discuss it separately next time. So thank you all. Let's end it.
Okay.
Okay,
So wonderful
thank you,
discussion.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you
everyone.
everyone.
Thank you, man. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.